Today's video is going to be my opinions on why the NFL should get rid of ties and my solution to the ties. So last year, there were two ties in the NFL. Week 1, with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns finishing in a 21-21 tie after the Steelers had a 21-0 lead. And Week 2, when the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings finished with a 29-29 tie in games in which both teams' kickers missed pretty simple field goals. Basically, the emphasis of this video is to showcase how the NFL hasn't done anything to fix this issue, and the NFL does not want to do anything to fix this issue when you know it's going to pop up again. And there are a lot of people out there who say, buck up, it's only a tie, it doesn't happen often. Well, that used to be the case. A tie used to happen once every 7-8 years. But then a few years ago, they decided to change the overtime rules in 2010, to enable each team to get a possession, and that made it more dangerous for ties to appear, which they started to do. So after that, the NFL decided to shorten overtimes to 10 minutes, which they did at the start of last season, and then we got 2 ties in the first 2 weeks. So essentially, the NFL has not done any progress on fixing ties, they've made it worse. And by doing that, they actually potentially cost 2 teams playoff spots last year. Those teams are the Pittsburgh Steelers, who probably would have lost if the Cleveland Browns had actually converted a field goal, but they would have had another chance to win if there was no time clock. And if they had won, then they would have finished with the same conference record as the Indianapolis Colts and potentially could have stolen that last playoff spot. And the other team that could have made the playoffs was the Minnesota Vikings. If the Vikings had won that game instead of losing that game, or actually not losing, instead of it finishing in a tie, then the Vikings would have made the playoffs. So let's show the missed field goals to see exactly. It gets blocked. Now, ideally, my solution would call for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get another chance to win that game, not for the clock to run out, and then, of course, the Browns and the Steelers finish tie. Then, of course, the Vikings and the Packers. You see the Vikings miss a field goal that literally any kicker should make. I believe they should have just kept the game going or figured out some kind of way to remedy that situation. Anyway, I'm rambling here, but the point is I have a solution here, and it's a solution that many football fans would probably enjoy because many football fans who watch the NFL also watch college football. And as you know, in college football, when there's an overtime, each overtime starts with a coin toss. Each team is given 1 possession. There is no kickoff. The ball starts at the 25-yard line. If a winner is not determined after 4 possessions, then the game suddenly goes into sudden death. And by that, I mean each team gets the ball at the 3-yard line with a chance to convert on 2-point conversions. And then it kind of goes into like a shootout mode, where kind of like how the NHL does it, where a team has to score, then they have to stop the other team from scoring, or vice versa. And I believe that works because A, there's no play clock, so you're not fighting the clock anymore, you're just fighting the other team. And B, it determines a winner no matter what. And that's all important, especially if you're a team chasing after a playoff spot. And the Minnesota Vikings came into last season as contenders for the NFC title, and clearly they played lower than expected and missed the playoffs due to a bad situation, a tie. And of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers were supposed to win the AFC North, and they could have done that had they won that game instead of tying it. So essentially, my video is essentially about how to get rid of ties, and I believe ties should be banished, but the NFL is not going to do it anytime soon. And I guarantee you, if you watch my predictions videos and you said they're going to be wrong, well, of course they're going to be wrong. There's going to be at least 1 tie in the NFL this year. I guarantee it. And when it happens, I'll be back talking about that tie and how it's going to affect that playoff team. Do you agree with me? Do you think ties should be banished from the NFL? And would you implement the college football system? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you once again for watching this video.